You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
What happened there? Excuse me. It's the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. I was having a moment because I have phlegm in my throat because of Black Forest Gummy Bears. Sponsor? No. But I don't care. I'm eating them anyway. So fuck you and your broccoli. Should we talk wrestling? I mean, we
I don't know. I
should.
kind of want to talk gummy bears now. Like, fuck.
Yeah, well, I agree. We could have a pretty contentious gummy bear debate. Maybe that'll be our next breaking kayfabe is Black Forest versus Harpo.
Haribo.
Hasbro. Which one's better?
Hasbro. Hasbro.
Hey,
False. Albanese. Go on.
I got to get some of those just to try them.
The great gummy bear debate.
Yeah. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Gummy Bear Podcast, everybody. I'm Ransom the Red Bear. Yes?
We absolutely need to find the Gummy Bear song and splice it in at some point, like the cartoon Gummy Bear song.
I'm so happy because I'm a gummy bear. Gummy bear.
Yeah, that's the one.
Damn it. I'm Ransom the Red Bear, everybody. Poot the Pineapple Bear is also here, and Beef the Blue Bear. He is here as well. We're gonna do allegedly wrestling talk, maybe Gummy Bear talk. I don't know. We last left off the last episode with Beef leaving us on a cliffhanger, but I'm all gummy beared up and I can't remember what Beef's cliffhanger was. I hope he remembers. Thanks everybody. Bye.
So Poot made a comment. He said that this WrestleMania is going to have some highs, some very emotional highs, but there's going to be a lot of I think he didn't say a meh, but he just kind of said basic white girl stuff. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, kind of middle ground. I don't think there's a lot of room for that. Stick with me, if you will. On paper, allegedly in pen, we have obviously Coleman. Nope. I almost said Rhodey, but instead I said Coleman. Cody versus Roman. Obviously. Rhea versus Charlotte. We know that Bianca's going to defend her title against somebody, hopefully that's named rhymes with Bosca. And we know that, in theory, Austin Theory is going to face John Cena.
Also,
those are yes.
Is Bosca the cross between? Is that like a fanfic crossover of Sasha Banks and Asuka?
Don't worry about it, man. You don't worry about what I do in my spare time.
Hey, my wife.
You stay out of Beef's head from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Beefy's time. So we're also going to get probably the Usos versus Sami and Kevin. We're also probably going to get Finn versus Edge, and those are two great fucking wrestlers no matter how you slice them up. I'm pretty fucking excited for what Gunther is going to do. I've read speculation that he is going to defend in a triple threat match with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre.
No! I like that.
Take all my money.
Also,
and then you get
the way you say
yeah.
Gunther makes it sound like you have a mouthful of gummy bears.
Gunther.
Gunny bears.
Yeah, gunny bears. Bang, 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 bang.
No. Plus, you're gonna get the likely end of the feud between Brock and Bobby Lashley. So honestly, right now, there is a lot that I'm pretty fucking hyped about this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, man.
Let me listen. Let me go on record right now saying this. I don't know where I'll be for Mania, but I can guarantee you this. Wherever I am, I'm either going to leave or shut it off and go to bed if Rhea Ripley fucking loses to Charlotte Flair.
That's not gonna
Ah.
happen.
Dude,
There's no way.
how many times have we said there's no way Charlotte's going to win? There's no way Charlotte's going to win. Charlotte shouldn't win. Charlotte can't win. There's no way Charlotte's going to win. And every fucking time, Charlotte Flair wins.
The man makes a
There's no
very
way.
he makes a
Lol,
salient
Charlotte
point.
wins.
He makes a salient point.
But I'm not predicting it. I'm just telling you this. I am out. WrestleMania is canceled. if Rhea has no business losing to Charlotte Flair. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm a broken record. Sorry, not sorry. Rhea Ripley is the best women's wrestler who is wrestling today. She should win this title and hold it for a very long time. She should not lose to Charlotte Flair. She should not lose to Charlotte Flair Mania. If she does, I'm done. I'm out. Shut it off. I'm leaving. I'm going home. I'll see it sheets. It's like it's not going to happen.
I'll see it sheets.
Don't do it.
With my tools. Fuck
yeah,
face.
I'm gonna have a chili dog. I'm gonna shit my pants. I'm gonna call it a night. It's over.
in sheets.
We'll share.
No, in the car.
Share.
Like I'm gonna eat it in sheets, and then en route to home, I'm gonna poo my pants in the car and drive off a cliff.
We'll share
It's
a meaningful
over.
glance. We'll share a meaningful glance across the gas pumps. You'll nod at me. I'll nod at you, and we'll both go our separate ways.
Shitting your pants all
Tearing.
the way.
Shitting
Yeah,
and crying.
Just fucking brown bottoming out, man. It's not gonna happen. I'm
mean,
gonna be
and-
so mad.
I've said it. I have said it. You know, again, quoting the same Tim Roth movie. The less apt a man makes declarative statements, or I'm sorry, the less a man makes a declarative statement, the less apt a man is to look foolish in retrospect. I've said it a million times.
Dude, I fuck it up
feel
all the
like-
time too. I fuck that up all the time too.
But like,
I thought you were gonna
I
say
feel like I've
I'm
said
not cutting off Rhea's little pinky.
I'm not cutting off Norman's little pinky. I've said this a million times that there's no way Charlotte wins, but I really, truly believe
Oh,
in my heart of hearts.
You're gonna curse it.
you're gonna fuck
Don't
it.
do it. You're gonna
You
fuck
know,
it up.
You're gonna mouth fuck it. Like don't do it.
I just think that they know how detrimental it was to Rhea's growth when it happened 3 years ago. That was 3 years ago when Rhea lost to Charlotte. And there was no point to it then. There's no point to it now. Rhea has grown so much as a professional wrestler.
Yeah, man.
And she was already pretty fucking good. But like she's found herself right now. And absolutely, I would say that there's a top tier of women's wrestling right now, and it's her, and it's Jamie Hayter, and it's Toni Storm. Like those three could wrestle a fucking broom and make it look good. And I'm sure, with all due respect, that there's probably some ladies in Stardom that I don't know about. Julia is getting a lot of love, and so like I'm sure that there are many women, but I don't watch Stardom. So like for my money, those three are top tier. I don't know that Rhea is the best of them. I don't know if she's second or third. I think that they're probably all equally just really fucking good right now. I don't see Rhea losing. There's
no reason to it. There's no it aside from Charlotte having an ego, there's not a purpose to Rhea losing.
And I think Triple H appreciates both of them equally. So I think, yeah, I'm here for it. And also, Mania, we're probably going to get Becky versus Bayley in something, so that's going to be awesome. I'm just saying, man. At this point, I think this year's Mania is going to come, and especially because I'll never be able to say it. Clash at the Castle was outstanding. SummerSlam was pretty darn good. Survivor Series is pretty darn good. Royal Rumble was pretty darn good. NXT's been amping up. I think this year's Mania could be one to write home about. I think that this could easily end up in the upper echelon if things pan out like they should, and if the crowd doesn't hijack WrestleMania. And that has as we discussed last time, has a strong possibility of happening. But I think the way that things are kind of shaking out right now, I'm here for it.
The possibility. Go ahead.
And I know that they've already announced the Money in the Bank for the O2 in London in like June. I was really hoping that they'd bring it back here because there's lots of undercard guys who need love. You know, old Peter Dune is the guy. Fucking Baron Corbin.
Yeah, man.
Is a guy who could stand to win that fucking briefcase again. Like, there are a lot of people on the show right now who I think Ricochet, you know, Strowman. There are a ton of people, and I don't know if they're gonna do the Andre. Maybe they'll come up with a different ladder match with a different gimmick. I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of talent right now that needs to be spoken for, and with 2 nights of WrestleMania, I think there's no excuse not to make sure you have the best, you know, all hands, as it were.
You mentioned Ricochet, and that immediately piqued my interest. Not that Peter Dune and Baron Corbin wouldn't be good for that, but man, I'll tell you what, Ricochet needs like some real serious like comeuppance. He's been doing. I mean, they've been doing better from what I've seen with him. But still, that'd be a nice little rub for him. And something, frankly, he's earned. I don't know about you. I think I could safely say that.
And reportedly, so the one match that I'm not looking forward to is Bray Wyatt versus Uncle Howdy. Now, I was pleasantly surprised with the pitch black match. I wish it would have gone longer, but for what it was, I was like, okay, this is a terrible gimmick. I'm here for it. I'm not rushing to sign up to see Bray versus Bo Dallas or whoever is behind Uncle Howdy mask. I'm just not. Fuck, you know, I feel like this whole Bray Howdy thing, and we've talked about it a little bit, has been so poorly timed and really kind of mismanaged. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just like, I think my goodwill for Bray is waning.
I kind of want to hear Ransom's take on this, because his cajolings and ramblings on Bray Wyatt are always super fucking entertaining. So like,
and usually very much on point.
Yes. To my chagrin, because I really like Bray Wyatt. But yeah, it like you said, on point. So Ransom, what do you got for old Uncle Pooty?
Well, that's the thing, is that I like Bray Wyatt too, and I want it to be good. I want the Bray Wyatt that is here now to succeed. But I don't know. Like, I think with everything that's happened with him in the past, I'm hesitant on getting excited about it.
With good reason.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Beef. The pitch black match, aside from the constant branding, was entertaining. It was fun. But okay, so Bray Wyatt versus Uncle Howdy. What then? Like, do they unmask him? Is it Bo Dallas? Is this dude gonna wrestle in this Uncle Hoo Hoo mask? I mean, it's clear he can't see very good in it because, like, he missed what's his nuts by a quarter of a mile, jumping off that stupid thing.
What's his nuts?
I don't know. I'm doing the wait and see. I'm not going to write it off, but I'm not going to get excited about it. Like, I'm gonna wait and see, because in the past I've been burnt on getting excited about Bray Wyatt. I've gotten burnt by getting excited about The Fiend. It's always led to disappointment. So I'm not going to write it off because I think he's far too talented for that. I'm going to wait and see where it goes. And if I'm pleasantly surprised, then I'm happy. Happy with that. But I don't know. It's wait and see.
And that's kind of where we're at right now with it. I feel like this. I'm starting to feel, and this is going to sound weird coming from me, I'm kind of too little too late with Bray Wyatt at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unless the payoff to all this chicanery is something really that makes me make this noise, and you guys know this noise because we've all made it, where you go, oh. If it's not that, then I'm going to be disappointed. Like, it has to be something that is, like, earth-shatteringly cool at this point for me to get on board. I like the presentation of the Pitch Black match. Again, short of the branding, as Ransom said. Branding. Short of that, everything else about it was really interesting. I know I made the joke about cum-covered Bray Wyatt, but again, I know like other wrestlers have done that sort of thing, but I thought it was neat. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a very striking visual. Uncle Howdy missing the mark aside, but like I don't know. It's just one of those things that I'm like, I loved the Fiend storyline so much before it went wildly south. And I love the creativity, the visual nature of it, the juxtaposition between the Firefly Funhouse and the modus operandi of the Fiend, and the presentation of the Fiend, like with the lantern inside of old Bray Wyatt's head. Like, man, that shit was cool. Like, that's the thing, is the bar was set so high for that now anything with this Uncle Howdy stuff and what's going on, unless the payoff is super fucking interesting and really makes me pop, I'm going to just go, all right. Like, that's where I'm at. I really feel like it's like too little too late, and it's just going to be done. And it's going to peter out. Bray Wyatt will go back into, whatever obscurity, and it'll just be done with.
Wow.
Yeah, I really do. And I hate doing that because you guys know me. I've been a Bray Wyatt apologist for a long time.
In Bray Wyatt, I trust, man. Like, everything he has ever touched is turned to gold. He is Midas as far as I'm concerned. I gotta believe that there's a plan. There's a mission, and I said that I'm not excited for, and I think it's a dumb waste of Bray's time. The Uncle Howdy match. I think that you can do the Uncle Howdy stuff and still have him wrestle, somebody worth wrestling. Honestly, what I'd love to see,
yeah,
is Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. And because he has, much like Rhea Ripley, who has a demon that she needs to slay, like, he's got a demon to slay in Randy Orton. Randy Orton has been involved in two of his biggest WrestleMania losses, if not the two biggest WrestleMania losses, where he beat Bray for the title at WrestleMania 34. That was the one where they had like projected all the weird shit on the fucking ring canvas. And
Oh, the
then
fucking
obviously,
bug thing.
and then obviously last year, Randy Orton beating the Fiend. So I absolutely think that he needs to exercise these demons.
Was that last year? Or was that the year
Yes.
before?
No, I think it was just last year, man. But
Huh.
regardless, like, like this is something that Bray needs to do. But here's the problem. I don't think Orton is in any shape for wrestling. Which is unfortunate because I think that would make a lot of sense. And may work on giving him some of his balls back, as it were. But as it stands right now, I don't know who it was 2 years ago. I apologize. I don't know who I would have, Bray face, but that's really the only thing that I'm not looking forward to. I think everything else is really popping off the screen to me. And they could always, fuck it up between now and then.
Well, WWE is notorious for doing that.
They have done that in the past. You are correct, sir. I always go back to WrestleMania 15, where like the Intercontinental title and the Hardcore title were booked perfectly for Billy Gunn to defend the Intercontinental and Road Dogg to defend the Hardcore.
Oh.
And like 2 weeks before the show, they swapped titles. And like the pairings then made no sense. And I was like, but why? Why?
That's the fault. That was like kind of in the beginnings of the short-term booking thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That really was. That is an excellent, like, you could look at that as like a catalyst point, man, like a flashpoint for that.
Flashpoint. But so WrestleMania notwithstanding, because we got about 6-7 weeks to talk about this.
We got about the 6 to 7 weeks.
What we don't have 6 or 7 weeks to talk about is AEW Full Gear or Revolution, which is typically the standout card of the year in my estimation for AEW. So it's starting to come together as well. And last night they sorry, I'm breaking kayfabe again. On Dynamite Wednesday, they set up Danielson officially to face MJF. And I'm I'm getting pretty stoked for that. It's gonna be, I think, an Iron Man match if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. So 60-minute Iron Man match. So that's gonna be really great. And again, pieces need to fall into place. MJF cut a pretty intense promo last night. Did you guys see that at all?
I thought you were going to use the term scathing, but unfortunately I missed that one. What came out of that glorious man's face?
So basically MJF talked about everybody there thinking that he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I am a scumbag. He talked about how he had events precipitating him to having points on his license in high school, his driver's license, and talked about a story where he had a girl in his Camaro, which for legal purposes he called Liv. insinuating that a blowjob happened for no reason other than, MJF being MJF. And then going down the road too fast and hitting a tree, hearing the cop sirens, looking down on his hands and seeing blood, and seeing this girl whose head smashed against the windshield, and like immediately switching, like moving her to the driver's seat and him over to the passenger seat, so that she could take the heat for driving, so he wouldn't get his license suspended. Was kind of the crux of it. And he said,
Good Lord.
yeah. He topped up by saying, "In this world, there are winners and there are losers."
Oh,
It
what
was a
the
very,
hell?
very intense promo. Even if you take out like the obvious reference to Liv Morgan giving MJF a blowjob, which I thought was a nice little like wink and a nudge. Because I think that they are friends outside of it. I don't know if he was just popping her, ribbing her, or whatever. But it was a very intense promo, and I'm like, man, like, and here is the thing.
That man is a literal atom bomb of nuclear heat.
I agree with him. He talked about winners and losers, and how Danielson's a loser.
Wow.
I love Bryan Danielson. But like, when the bright light has shone on him, he always performs amazingly, but just never kind of gets there. Like, yeah,
but it's
he
not
had a
his
WrestleMania
fault.
moment. He had that not being being yes, you are 100% correct. But the point remains. Like, yes, he had his WrestleMania moment, but he missed winning the Rumble leading up to it. And like he hit, his peak, and then there'd be a valley. He'd hit his peak, and then there'd be a valley. Like it, and again, you're 100% right. Through no fault of his own, he is a tremendous performer, but he's a guy that has not been entrusted with carrying a company. Even Ring of Honor, it took him so long to win the big one there. So I just feel like all of MJF's promos, a little bit of truth to it, and that's what makes it sting the most. What do you guys think? Was that? And I know I'm doing this like, what do you guys think thing again? But like that promo, that promo, I want to hear your thoughts. And I know you guys didn't get a chance to, see it in person, but like that was the general tone and tenor. Was that too much? Like Turner, Discovery, the Discovery overlords of Turner and WB have asked AEW to kind of tone down everything, and yet here we are, like Max telling these kind of stories. Like, is this too much?
No. I'm gonna jump right on this, Ransom. I apologize, and mine's gonna be a simple answer. There is no like ceiling to MJF's too far. I think MJF can say in a promo, in a wrestling context, whatever, he can say whatever the actual fuck that he wants, and it's fine. Not in the sense that it's fine, like, oh, he said it, it's not offensive, but that character can literally say whatever the actual fuck he desires, and it will work, and it will not be held against him as a person. Truly, I believe that. And I think that's why that character is so revered and reviled at the same time, because there is no ceiling. There is no like too far for MJF. There's no depths to the depravity. Like, there's just not. And he will carry it like he owns the universe. It's just how that character can be. I am fearing the day that he goes too far, because it could like destroy his career. You know what I mean? If there is a too far. That's it. I don't think there is a too far for MJF.
Interesting. We're gonna cycle back around to that in a minute. Ransom, what do you think?
Yikes. Man, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of torn a little bit just because, like, on one hand, I don't feel like anything is going too far in wrestling because, especially today, we know wrestling is scripted. These people are characters. It's not real. You know, like, yeah, injuries are real, but we all know what wrestling is. It's a very real, physical, fake soap opera. So on that note, it's like, well, no, nothing's crossing a line because it's all scripted. But on the other hand, like, oh man, ooh, like we're in a car accident. This girl got fucked up. I moved her to the driver's seat so she could take the heat, and they're winners and losers. This bitch was a loser because fuck her. And oh man, oh, it's cringy. It's definitely cringy. But I would say I would have to say no. It's not too far. It's off the chart cringe, but too far, probably not, because again, it's wrestling. Wrestling is a soap opera. So, yeah.
I like this. I do. I thought it was a great promo. And like I love when MJF breaks out these kind of promos because they have gravity to them. You know, same thing with like the Punk promo that he did about how, you know, Punk left and like, you know, it basically wrecked his life, you know, at the time. The genuine heart and intensity he has in these promos is not seen since Roddy Piper. There have been many a man who puts on a good promo. You know, CM Punk, John Cena, two of the guys that come to my mind immediately. But like, didn't have that emotion and intensity like Piper did, and MJF has that same fire. But here's my problem. Like initially, I scoffed when people are like, oh, you know, too much blood. AEW using blood all the fucking time is going to desensitize people to it. I'm here for blood. I have no problem with it, but like, you know, having a big fucking bloodbath every 2 weeks isn't really doing you any favors. I think color is great when it's done well. So I think that there can be an overuse of it. I feel the same with these MJF shock value promos. That like I got no problem with what he says. Like he says shit that's real, that people, and that's why he is such an anti-hero. Even still, because he says shit that people identify with and go, yes. Now, obviously, the shtick last night was, you know, not something that a lot of people identify with, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's very gritty, very real. That's his draw, and I think that you know, like Poot said, could eventually be his undoing if he does eventually say something that pisses off fucking, you know, Papa Discovery, and they're like, yeah, no. He either isn't your champion anymore or you're not on TBS anymore. Those are your choices. So he was also pivoting ever so slightly in the media recently for coming out in support of Zachary Wentz. Zachary
Smarten me
Wentz.
up who that is.
Of NXT fame, he came in with Wes Lee, and they were I forget the name of their tag team, the Rascals. Yes.
Oh yeah,
And
MSK.
Thank you. Yes, MSK, and super talented, but that stuff came out about him potentially, physically abusing his significant other, and then she shared a picture of him with like a Hitler mustache,
Doing a Nazi salute.
right, and like
Oh.
WW was like, nope, we're not doing this. See ya, and he was gone. Pretty much like, don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. So, now, since then, a lot of people have come to the aid of him, saying that, and that's where a lot of this, bullshit he said, she said stuff ends up, is that people draw battle lines and they say, oh no, this dude's too good, or, oh yeah, this guy's definitely a douchebag. And like, you never really know the real story. And it kind of ends up, kind of like, the Johnny Depp situation where people act quickly because of how serious these implications are, only to find out that, oh, hey, shoes on the other foot. MJF came out and supported him, a friend, because, he talked about how he's not at all anti-Semitic. Obviously, MJF being Jewish would have a big problem with that. And how it was like, he did that for a rib or whatever. And that basically, like, he told a story about how one time he actually beat the shit out of somebody for like making an anti-Semitic remark about Max, and basically calling the girl, the boy who cried wolf,
A liar.
saying that she was, yeah, exactly. And again, like, years after the fact, it's a he said she said thing. I don't blame WWE for basically cutting bait and saying we're out. But the point with all this is, how do we feel? And this was just a few weeks ago on Twitter, maybe last week. I guess the tweets have been since deleted. But he basically, let me see if I can find the actual tweets here. But basically, he said that he came out in support of him, which is absolutely out of character. So like, this was, and as we've talked about a million times before, MJF is never really out of character. He's always the guy that you see on TV. Not that he's not a nice guy,
but he is keeping kayfabe real hard.
Exactly. So this is obviously MJF being real, even if it's for a split second. Discussing, him going too far and all that, how do we feel about him kind of breaking kayfabe again, even ever so briefly, in support of Zachary Wentz?
I mean, like, personal feelings on issues aside, and for as much as he keeps kayfabe, like, these guys are people. The people they play on TV are characters. And we often say the best characters are, the individual people souped up to, 10 or whatever the saying is. But, I mean, they're people. So if this guy's going to come out in support of a friend, I think he has every right to do so. Whether or not you agree with what he says is a different story. I think that's always up for, each individual's interpretation. I won't always agree with, something that Beef says. Beef won't always agree with something that I say. We have our own personal opinions and feelings on, a plethora of different issues. So that's not what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on the fact that, he has every right in the world to come out and stand up for somebody that he considers a friend. And I don't think he should get any heat for that. I'd come out in support of a friend, even if I'm known for really keeping kayfabe, if someone is making what I consider to be false accusations against, my buddy Beef or my buddy Poot, I'm going to come out in defense of them and say, no, that's not who they are. I've never seen them do that before in my life. That's not the kind of character they are. So I can't fault the guy for breaking kayfabe and coming out in defense of somebody who he considers a friend. Whether you agree with his stance on the matter is a different story, and I don't think that's, a discussion for now. But no, I don't have a problem with him breaking kayfabe and coming out in defense of a friend. I think that's an honorable thing to do.
So, in my opinion, I think that Wentz got a fucking raw deal from the start.
Was anything ever proven on that? I know that's not the focal point right now, but
No.
just out of my own morbid curiosity.
No. Nope. And again,
nothing went to court. He was never found guilty. Okay.
Nope. And it's a years ago he said she said thing.
Okay.
So chances of anything ever coming out ever in official ways, unlikely. But I think you got a raw deal. And the tweet, just so that we're all on kind of the same page here, was lost it. There it is. Part 1. Everyone's afraid of talking honestly, so I will. Zachary Wentz isn't an anti-Semite. I lived with him. The fact that he's not on TV right now because a girl who got caught lying about abuse couldn't handle a breakup well and posted a photo of him doing something in jest is wild. Part 2. When a wrestler who shall remain nameless keyed my car and called me a bad word for a Jewish person, Zachary went out of his way when everyone else turned a blind eye to check in on me. The court of Twitter can sometimes get dirtbags out of our industry, but the court isn't always right. So yeah, I feel like he didn't get due process because WWE was kind of in a zero tolerance time frame, and I think that they still are.
Which is hilarious coming from what Vince
absolutely.
McMahon did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What a super funny, double-sided fucking thing that they did there.
Yeah, like they set a precedent and then just went nah, fuck that.
See, what he should have done is he should have paid her off and had her sign a non-disclosure agreement. Then everything would have been fine and he could have kept his job.
And he probably would have been WWE champion.
Yeah, probably.
But I appreciate MJF doing this because
absolutely
he knows his power. And that's a weird thing to say. Okay. He knows his power right now. He knows his reach. And he was trying to do some good. Now, I don't know why he took the tweet down. I don't know if TK asked him to do that. I don't know if, the execs over at Warner Media and Discovery were getting a little antsy in the pantsy with it. Because, to be fair, it did contain, the K word that you use to deal with Jewish people. Well, no, not that you, but that
sure.
Ignorant people used to describe them, which would be like tweeting, the N-word. So I'm sure that they probably had their butt feathers in a ruffle for that. But I
butt feathers.
I don't know, man. Like it's great. It's really awesome, and I'm glad to see him see an injustice and kind of stand up for it, and especially because he's a friend. Awesome, but like it's it's so tough when you're a guy who never takes your jacket off, and then you take your jacket off for one photo one time, and everyone's like, "Oh, so you do take it off."
Wear a jacket.
You wear a jacket. I
So happy.
it was weird placement, I guess. But again, I don't begrudge him at all because he's putting on a sizzling feud right now with Danielson, where they haven't had any contact at all, really, which is great. So like and again, MJF is a guy who I think has earned his stripes, earned his credibility, and if he wants to take an opportunity to be real about something for a good cause, well, a perceivably good cause, awesome. But the other side of that coin is, like I said earlier, the less a man make a declarative statement, the less apt he is to look a fool in retrospect. If shit blows up and goes the other way, suddenly he doesn't have the best look on his face.
Well, but that's a risk you take, man.
It is.
Like whenever
absolutely.
you stand up, that's a risk. But if I may throw my 2 cents in, which Beef, you kind of covered my major point that I was going to make, which he knows his power and he knows his reach. But the other thing is too that I think this was good is that when MJF does break character for something, it means business. Like there's gravitas to him doing that, and I think it's nice for him to do this every once in a full blue moon, to have him do that so that it can, as Ransom said too, it can remind us that he is a human. He is a person with feelings. He is not the character he portrays entirely. You know what I mean? But to remember that, like, when he goes home, like, he's just himself. He can let his guard down. He cannot be, MJF. Like, he can just be himself. And the fact that there is a man that's behind that, to just remind fans, it's like, hey, don't forget, these are people, is refreshing. And I think humanizing characters, especially characters that are done so well, like MJF, is an important thing in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? It was the same thing whenever Taker retired. Like, whenever he went out and he did interviews as Mark Calloway, like, that was a big fucking deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice to be reminded that it's like, dude, he's just a guy. And honestly, I think, like, that's something cool because it doesn't demystify the Undertaker's career. It doesn't demystify the character. It just makes you go, wow, he loved his job and loved his character. You know what I mean? He put his heart and soul into it. And I think that's something that we will see over time with MJF too.
That's a great point, Poot. Like, yeah. When he drops the character, it's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of big fucking deals, hot off the presses.
Oh.
Apparently, internationally, and I know we've talked a little bit about other international deals that AEW has, but ESPN is broadcasting AEW exclusively in Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to make too much of that, but at the same time, I kind of do. Like, ESPN kind of sort of taking the temperature with this is real interesting.
Yeah, that's nothing to balk at.
And again, I know it's a select market, but that tells me that, because like in this world that which we live in, there are many like media monopolies right now. And obviously two of the biggest are Disney and Discovery WB. So this is like the other side of the world, and this is the other side of the coin. Here it's on Discovery WB. There it's on Disney. That's real fucking interesting to me. That also tells me that whenever we talk about AEW kind of having to walk carefully under the tyrant overlords of Discovery WB, I think maybe they have a little bit, maybe have more options than we initially thought.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that would be something. That'd be something.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a Stump the Chumps. Speaking of options, you guys interested?
Yeah, man.
This comes from my buddy Ryuk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ryuk.
So
all right.
and Pat will be joining us next week since he beat us last week
Oh,
or last time rather.
stupid Pat.
Just
I'm sorry.
What?
I should have listened to you last week. You fucking had it. I was like, yeah, man.
I
know more about.
I never get fucking.
damn it,
I
Pooh.
never get fucking sick of hearing that beef.
Fuck, man. You were right, Pooch. You were right. All right,
Yes.
so our buddy Ryuk, aka Ernest, says, who has the most wins inside Elimination Chamber? Topical.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him being topical.
I'm real tempted to say Triple H, but I don't want to put a lot of money on that.
Ooh, most elimination chamber wins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't sit on that. Oh, clanging.
Now here's the thing. Are we talking about now I understand the way it's the most victories. It's like who has won the most or who has eliminated the most people?
Wins.
Chamber
I would absolutely go H. Elimination Chamber became a big thing during the like H Golden Shovel era.
I know for sure he won in Puerto Rico at the first ever New Year's Revolution.
When was that? That was early aughts, right?
Oh, yeah. That would have been 05.
That was the
Because
first?
Yes, because Batista was a part of that and still a member of Evolution, and that's where they started like sowing the seeds. And then Batista won the Rumble, the next month. So that would have been 05. No, that was not the first. I apologize, but that was like the first New Year's Revolution.
Yeah, I thought the first one
Which
was
is
like
where-
04 or maybe even 03.
It was probably even earlier than that because Triple H Shawn Michaels won the first one, didn't he?
No. Did he?
Yeah, he did because he won the big gold belt at that one.
Mm-hmm. He beat Triple H. Well, Triple H.
Oh, was that brown? Was that Brown Pants Michaels?
Oh,
Was that
yeah.
Brown Pants Michaels?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that Triple H
Oh.
has competed in more. He has competed in more, right? Like I'm not just wrong here. Like,
He's competed in a lot. He probably has. He's probably at least top 3 in Elimination Chamber appearances.
The other two names that come to mind, just because of the time frame, are probably Cena and Orton.
I man, just for the time frame, and like I said, it was the H era. I would be more apt to put it on H. If it wasn't H, I would probably go with Orton next, but I really don't think Orton had the wins that
Yeah,
H did in there.
I think Orton has only ever won. He's only ever won one of them,
Okay.
right? He's been in a lot.
Was it one or two? Yeah, he has. Him and Kofi was in there too, a lot.
Like Kofi was in a lot. Cena was in a lot. Jericho was in a lot.
Jericho was in a lot.
Oh yeah.
But I think like I can only ever really remember Orton winning one of them.
What about Jericho?
Oh,
Jericho-
I mean, he's been
no.
in a lot, but I don't think he's won. Has he won any?
Yeah, he won the one on the road to WrestleMania that one year that Shawn Michaels screwed Undertaker.
Yeah, but I don't think
Oh, that's right.
I
So
don't.
like if
But that's the only one that he won, though, right?
that's what I'm saying. I don't remember, but like that's what I'm saying. Like if he stuck another one in there at some point, like and I mean like they've been diversifying in that including things like tag team titles and mid card titles and obviously women's titles in them.
Yeah, I think there's a butt ton of people that have like one win.
Right.
But I'm with Poot. Like
I mean, it's got to be Triple H. Like that was the one that sprang to my mind first.
Yeah, it has to be because I can't think of anybody else that has won.
Edge has Edge won any?
He's won maybe a couple, 2 or 3 maybe.
Triple H and Edge are the two that like keep popping into my mind. I know I said Cena and Orton, but just because of the time frame.
Cena pops into mind.
Right.
Maybe Bryan Danielson. He won a few.
Did he?
But I think he did. But I'm still with Poot. Like I don't think anybody won as many as Triple H.
Yeah, I think H still has the record on that.
All right.
He has
yeah,
to.
I'm here for it. Like not only do I think that you guys are right, because that was my first inclination as well, but like I've been burned too many times in the past for trying to swim upstream against you guys. Like I am absolutely not going to put my foot in the ground here and say anything different. I'm with you with Triple H. So Ryuk says, thanks again for everything you guys do, and looking forward to more questions and more P3. Thanks, Ryuk. We love hearing you listen, buddy.
What a nice boy.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
He tunes into my streams too.
It is, of course, Triple H, who holds the most wins inside the Elimination Chamber with 4. So,
Ooh.
our gut was right there. So Ryuk, my boy, my man.
Give it to him.
Oh.
I love the topical, man. But you got to remember, WrestleMania season is P3 season, boy. And I know I'm setting us up for failure saying that because someone's going to come up with some ridiculous WrestleMania question that's going to stump me. But Ryuk, you brought a really good question. Unfortunately, you lose, sir. And you get nothing.
Nothing. But
On
still,
the next.
fun question.
Yeah, dude. I like the simple ones because it gives us time to like fact check our answers mentally, like kind of walk through it. But like with the maniac's ever increasing difficulty of questions, we have to like work through them in like piecemeal. So I like straightforward questions. So thank you, Ryuk, even though you did not win. Gentlemen, I feel like we've had a lot of good conversations this evening. And I feel like I'm excited for the next couple of months in wrestling. I'm also excited for Poot to make a burrito.
Oh, I'm going to make the full burrito this time. Thank you all for listening to the P3 podcast. As always, we want to thank, first and foremost, for our lovely supporters and sponsors, Mr. Tiger. Ransom, can you give me one? Bomb Tom and his page Casual Gaming Dad over on Facebook. Join Casual Gaming Dad's Corner. Join the community. A bunch of wonderful people like Ryuk. And us three dum-dums as well.
Oh,
yeah. Us. And you go support Casual Gaming Dad on his streams. Very, very entertaining. Very, very good at what he does. And you can check him out, like I said, on Facebook, Casual Gaming Dad, on YouTube at Casual Gaming Dad, and on Twitch at Casual Gaming Dad 84. So you go on there and you find him, give him a follow, give him a sub, give him a like. He deserves them all. Also, he deserves your money as well. That's right, your money. He deserves your money. Go on over to gouldgaming.com, search on Casual Gaming Dad, and get some awesome Casual Gaming Dad merch, and get your very own P3 Podcast t-shirt. They're real nice. They're real high quality. We also want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with professional wrestling in the greater Pennsylvania area, the greater Commonwealth area. And we're looking forward to getting out to some more indie shows. You know, I love indie shows, and they're always a blast. And you get to see the future stars of wrestling. Who doesn't like that? We also want to thank Frigoff Ransom, the funniest YouTube channel in the universe. That's right. Shush. So go and subscribe to him and watch his videos. He's a hilarious boy. And also want to thank Beef for Beef Raw and his reviews that he has up. He did a great job with the Rumble. Beef, you rolling on through with Mania?
More are coming. I got the first 4 Manias. I got most of 4. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in my video, but I think that WrestleMania really starts to find its voice in WrestleMania 3, and so I'm probably gonna do a couple this weekend. Maybe we'll see with the big game. We'll see if I have time to put together a couple. But yes, more are coming for sure.
Sweet. And why don't you go on over to Poot the Bard on Twitch? Don't bother watching my YouTube channel. It's a bunch of cringe. Or you could go on over to my YouTube channel and check it out. That's Poot the Bard across the board. And give us a looky-loo over there. And also make sure you subscribe to the P3 podcast. On YouTube. Just search on P3 Podcast or Pittsburgh Pile Driver Podcast. And you can also find us anywhere you find high-quality podcasts as well. Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, the whole shebang. Apple Podcasts, I think that's a thing. But anyway, find us on there as well. For myself, the Bardbarian, Poot the Bard, Bebe, for our wrestling encyclopedia and grandest of champions, that's Beef the Legend, for the reigning maddest of men, Ransom, and our very own Tiger Uppercut Bomb Tom. Have a good evening. Burrito, wrapped, signed, sealed, and delivered. Not too much rice and just the right amount of guac.
What is steampunk?
Fuck you, Bob.